What's up, everybody? It's Bob and Rob again, your favorite hosts in the note business. I want to
What's
talk
going
about
on, Rob?
what's going on, Bob. I want to talk about
I
something.
want, I want you to tell everybody, you spent some time in Dallas last
I
week.
did spend
So
some time in Dallas last week.
I'm glad to see you're not sweating anymore.
I,
And
I don't know what you
tell
guys were all
everybody,
complaining. I don't know what you're all complaining about out there that it was so hot. It actually wasn't so bad. I didn't feel like it was that bad, and I kept saying that. And then as I was, going from air conditioned space to air conditioned space to air conditioned space, saying that, as soon as you'd walk out into the heat, you actually would feel it, and that's when you would notice it. And then when you're in the sun, you actually would notice it. So maybe I didn't feel it because I wasn't spending enough time outside. I don't know, but it didn't feel. Maybe I wasn't there long enough either. I mean, I did
yeah,
come from 94, 99-degree weather, somewhat humidity in Charlotte anyway, but it was still hot. It was still hot.
yeah, well, it looks like it's going to be that way for another week or two. So
Is it
we'll
really?
see. But yeah, it was a good visit. We had a good meal. That Italian food was good. And anytime a Napolitano gives a thumbs up to a bolognese, then I
It,
have to
it
accept
was
that it
it
was a
was
pretty
good.
good choice.
I'm gonna show everybody a picture of what it was that we had. Oh, here it is. Some great things about Dallas. Oops.
Oh,
The
there you
food,
go. There you go. That is the
the
wild
sunsets,
boar ragu. Yep.
the
Awesome.
sunsets, and the pet-friendly ride home that sat next to me.
Huh. There you go.
Sat right
I
next to me.
noticed
That,
you,
that
I
puppy.
noticed you didn't have a picture of me as far as good company or anything, but that's
I,
okay.
did we even take a picture? I don't know if we took a picture. I
Probably
want.
not. But anyway, we'll get one at Note Expo for
We'll
sure.
get one at
Which
Note Expo together, definitely.
here's my plug for that. November 3rd and 4th, NoteExpo.com, Dallas Galleria Hotel, and you will see both of us on stage. So if you are tired of looking at us video wise virtually, you want to press the flesh and come meet us, come to Nerd Expo. And it's worth the price of admission just to, hear Bob and Rob live on the stage and, get to interact with us during the breaks and all the networking opportunities.
And this will tie right into that as well, because I said I want to come on here because I did have something bothering me. You know me, I say it like it is, and I hold everything on my sleeves, even though when they're short sleeves, I'll make it a little short. But I'm a little pissed off today, and I'm a little pissed off at myself actually, because I'm redoing some of my marketing and stuff, and someone missed the spot again. I'm not sure if it was me or my marketing people, because we wanted to kind of capture more about what it is that we're doing as we're updating our marketing stuff and everything. And they didn't really get the business. When they came back with one of their first drafts of some of the work they were doing for me, they were totally, totally, totally off base. And I felt pissed off that, did they just not listen? And then I thought about it as, or maybe I just didn't explain it properly. I'm not sure where the disconnect is, but you see it everywhere that people look at what our business is and they think, oh, real estate, you guys are buying, distressed properties. And that's what they kind of reconcile it to. We're just buying
Well,
reconciled property. I mean, we're just buying wrecked properties, and we're just going to go and do due diligence because we're going to fix and flip it and sell it to somebody. And it's like there's people just don't get what it is that we do. So I mean, before I get you, I know you want to say something on this, but this is part of the reason why places like Note Expo really help, because really our business is about what people don't see. It's not about the property. It's about
right.
the underpinnings of that property, the debt associated with the property. It's not about what the balance on these loans are. It's about what we can purchase them for. It's not about the interest rates on these loans. It's about overall value we capture and unlock based on the business that we do. All three of these things are not tangible and you can't see them, but yet it's the most valuable part of real estate investing and you can't see it, which is why going to a place like Note Expo, hopefully people can get some insight to seeing what it is that we see. And so I feel like in our business, we have like this third eye that we can see things that other people can't see. And so I don't know if I'm really pissed off at myself that I didn't articulate to my marketing team, or did I, and they still couldn't see it. So I'm not sure, but that's kind of been on my mind and bothering me today.
Well, my first reaction is, you're spot on as far as not everybody can see the note business right out of the gate. So if your marketing team has no experience in the note space, and maybe some in the real estate space, their mind automatically goes to real estate, right? And I have found through decades of working in this business that, no offense to all you marketing guys out there, but marketers like to regurgitate things they've already created for other clients and just put a little tweak on it. Well, if they've never done anything for a note business before, they were just tweaking some real estate investing stuff, trying to make it fit for your box. And whether you could have articulated that up front or not, I don't know, but I can't imagine the first conversation would have been crystal clear to them, regardless of what you said. It's going to be several iterations before it's like, all right, you guys finally nailed what I'm trying to get across.
Yeah.
Now, your point about Note Expo and the audience and people that would, already have part of the onion peeled and they'll be able to see it quicker is spot on as well. So I appreciate the plug for Note Expo, but, I think you're right. I was having a meeting this morning, a couple capital investors, and we get together. They come by my office once a month, bring me some coffee. We chat for about an hour. They were buying some notes, and we were just talking about what's in our pipeline and our trade desk. And you're right. I mean, we were looking at a couple deals, and it's like, man, that is a great looking house. I'd love to have it. It's like, you're not going to have the house. You're going to have the paper on the house, and stuff like that won't default. So you'll just get your payments every month, and everything will be great. And they're like, yeah, I know, because they used to be fix and flippers, and then they used to be apartment syndicators. So, they're used to the hands on that hard asset. So it is different. But I told them, I was like, yeah, I always buy a house. It's like, well, if I get it back, I'd love to have it. Those always pay. So when I take that I don't really want, they don't pay, and I end up with a property I don't want. So you can never pick and choose. But,
Yeah.
it is a hurdle in your mind and in your messaging that the marketers have to get past, that we're not chasing the real estate. We're chasing, the investment to value, like you talked about, not the loan to value, like
Right.
how much you're going to pay for it, the yield, because you're going to buy it at a discount in most cases, as opposed to what the interest rate of the note is. Right. So, now some investors, especially passive, they have what we call the eyeball test. They'll look at the BPO at the house, and they'll get all worried if it's got 8 cars in the driveway, or a shingle on the top right corner's missing, even though they're not buying the house. So if you got a passive investor, you want a nice eyeball test, but they're not going to be 3-bedroom brick house with a white picket fence around it all the time.
Yeah. I mean, look, one of the differences, I think, between buying the house and buying the note, I wish there was something in our business that would give us, before I say, let me compare it first. We have appraisals and BPOs, broker price opinions, that give us the valuation of the hard asset. We know what it's worth. We know that if we actually got it, here's what it would probably most likely sell for if we sold it. I wish we had something like that in the note space, where we can assess and evaluate people's income. Because in the end, right, the real reason why we get into this business is to make money passively, and to make our money to go to work for us. And the way you do that is by collecting payments. And so the only way you're going to collect payments is if people have income to make those payments. So more important to me, I think, than an LTV is a DTI, the debt to income ratio, and having the income in that part of the equation. So I really wish we could have something to say, hey, these people are going to make this much money in, over the next X amount of years, and you can really evaluate the value of a paper, other than looking at the underlying collateral.
Right. As you know, for the most part, we don't originate loans, so we're buying seasoned paper.
Yep.
right? So we don't have that information available, or if we do, it's dated. It could be a
Right.
year old, 2 years old, 3 years old, whatever. So what we do is we refer to what is their propensity to pay, right? So a lot of people call it seasoning, but you got to balance seasoning with pay history, right?
Yeah.
Just
Got
because it's got 3 years seasoning, if they paid spotty for 3 years and they just happen to be current the month you're looking at it, that ain't always,
yes.
doesn't mean you won't buy it, but you just pay a little lower price or
Yeah.
whatever. So we look at it as a propensity to pay. Like, do they have equity? Is the house nice and well kept? Then the likelihood of them continuing to pay based on everything is good. Now that doesn't mean death, divorce, loss of a
Sure.
job, any of that
Right.
can
Those
change
hardships
everything.
don't count. Right.
Right. But we look at it as like, well, this guy's paid for 3 years. He's got, 30% equity. I'm talking about like not appreciation, but like through his down payment and
Sure.
number of payments made. And he's, only been 30 days one time in 3 years or, whatever. I don't see this guy going sideways unless a life event happens to him. And there's enough cushion, you're going to buy it at a discount, plus there's 30% equity. You're looking pretty good.
Right.
So that's kind of the thought process. How do you offset the fact that we don't have current information to run DTIs? So that's a free nugget for you guys out there.
There you go. That's why we do this, right? For people to unlock some of this information and some of this value, unlock these nuggets.
Yeah, because if you
Yeah, I
originate
mean,
the loan, you're gonna look at an application. You're gonna know
yes,
where they work, how long have they been
yes,
there, what do they make, all that kind of stuff. And if you're looking at something that was, heck, we've been around a long time, Rob. I'm still buying today notes that are what we refer to as reperforming. Loans
yeah,
that have been delinquent, modified, and are now reperforming. Some of these were originated in '07,
yep.
'06. What good is a 1003 from 2006 that tells me the guy worked at UPS and was making X amount, right? The
Yep.
odds he still don't work there, and even if he does, hopefully he's making more. But
I, I
it
was
is
talking
what it
with
is.
someone yesterday who was looking at a second in California. They were looking at a second in California. They were had me on the phone. They wanted my opinion on a couple of things, and I said, "Well, what's the property worth?" Well, it's worth 650. All right. So what's your second? 215. All right. So what's the first? We don't know. We had, the last time that we had a snapshot of what the first was the credit report and the bankruptcy back in 2016, and it was $130,000 balance back then. I'm saying, and what's the problem here? Well, we don't know how risky this is going to be. I'm like, you're 100% covered. They're paying their first. You figure you got 250, 300 of equity behind you. Going back to your point of propensity to pay, start the foreclosure. Well, did
Well,
we get the house? I don't think you're going to get the house. I think you're getting paid off. That's what I think you're going to do. I don't think you're getting the house. So if you want to buy this, you got to buy it looking at what kind of yield how quickly you can turn this around. I mean, how long is the foreclosure in California? It's less than a year. So within a year, it's a discounted cash flow play type of thing. So you're going to get paid off. So why are we looking at the house? I mean, why do we care about the first at this point? Um, I
I've
don't
been
know.
doing this a long time, and if I had a crystal ball, I could have made a lot of money. We just don't have one, right? You don't know what's going to happen. You got to feel. I mean, look, any investment, as they say, here's our official disclaimer, is risky, and there's no guarantee
Yes.
of past performance its future results. But if you do it long enough, and you have a system and a process and a financial model, the odds of you being pretty successful are good. And if you're getting new in the business, then you rely on folks,
Yeah.
like I said, have been around a while, and listen to what we learn from, and don't do what we did, learn from our mistakes, and
Yeah.
build your model and keep going.
Yeah. I mean, I look at that. They want. Oh, we want to know what we want to figure out what the balance is on the first. I'm like, why? Let's just do a little bit of logic here. If in 2015-16 it was 130, and let's say they're paying, which way do you think that balance went? You think it went up or it went down? Why do we care what it is? If it's somewhere, the number is somewhere less than 130. And let's say they didn't
Yeah,
pay.
yeah,
Okay, for the past 4, 5, 6 years, accrued interest on top of that, how much do you possibly think it's going to be? It's not going to be another 100 grand. So let's say it is another 230, and you're 200 on behind that on a $650,000 property. I still said you're going to get paid off. Okay,
Yeah.
so why do we need to know the numbers? It's the close enough. As I said,
There you
in horseshoes and hand grenades, it's the same thing, right? You just got to get close enough.
Yep, and that's we refer a lot of times if there's a little issue on title. Right now, I'm not going to say there's a significant issue, but I'm just talking about something that's like, well, down the road it could come back and bite you.
Sure.
Well, is it good enough? Is it oh yeah, I mean the odds of that happening, and we're buying it at such a discount, you should be fine. So sometimes you just, you can get brain damage sitting here trying to cross all
Yeah.
the T's and dot all the I's and never buy it.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You just get put in my life too short bucket and go buy a deal from Rob. You're not gonna buy one from me.
Yeah.
So
as Mark Cuban said, perfection is the enemy of progress. Right?
look at you quoting people, huh?
Oh, I had breakfast with him last week, so he told that to me in my ear. So he was giving me.
People are gonna
I was
think
down
you
in
like
Dallas, so
prepare for this every week.
so perfection is the enemy of progress. Look, and that's got to be sort of the attitude here. I had another group that I was working with that same thing. It just felt that they wanted everything to be perfect before they would, dip their toe in the water. And I'm like, nothing's going to be perfect, and you're going to move slow. Sorry, guys. There's people moving faster that are more comfortable with this, and they see the value. And if you can't see the value of what's going on here, then you probably shouldn't be in the business. Probably shouldn't be in the business.
I mean, and there's something either that or if you're not a fit for me, it doesn't mean somebody else won't. You're not maybe a fit for them, but if we're not a fit right now, that's fine. Get experienced and whatever, and down the road, if we can do business together, great.
Yeah.
But
so listen, it's interesting. I mean, it's we can see the value in what we do in the business that we have, and it's just sometimes frustrating when others can't see what we can see. Whether it be the
value we
marketer.
add is to be able to share it with them, and they'll be fine. And my only advice on that is give them another chance, but cut bait if they don't get it, because you can't just waste time.
Yeah, no. Time is the most valuable commodity. Time is the most valuable commodity, right?
For sure.
Time.
Speaking of time, I know you want to stick to strictly business, but it is getting to be football season, and I'm excited. I wore my NC State Wolfpack football hat today because college will start a week or two before the NFL, so I'll still have time to pitch the Dallas Cowboys here on our next show. But football is always fun. It's one of those. Not only a great sport, but it's a good environment to hang out with friends and family and food and fellowship and, watch football.
So I'm not the biggest football fan, partially because coming from New York and New Jersey, the Jets and the Giants are terrible. And now coming to Charlotte, the Panthers may decide to show up or not show up this season. So who knows what kind of, entertainment we're going to have. But what I did see, interestingly enough, down here in Charlotte news, they were showing Aaron Rodgers up at Jets camp, and how I don't know, it was on ESPN actually. It wasn't the local news. It was on ESPN. I was watching. I guess it was this morning about how he's worried, and I'm kind of chuckling a little bit. Yeah, he's worried because his O line can't put up any protection, and they were showing like in the first 7 games, the Jets are going to be competing against like top 3 defenses and pass rush defenses. And I'm like, oh boy, Aaron's in trouble. And they were like, he was like talking like, yeah, we got like 2 weeks to kind of figure it out. We'll figure it out. I mean, those jobs are still up for grabs. I'm like, if those jobs are still up for grab at this part of preseason, you've got a problem. You've got a problem.
Yeah, if you're still trying to patch it together now, And Aaron's what, 38 years old. He's gonna have to be a little more nimble than he was
Yep.
anticipating.
I
But
find it
I mean, it's
comical.
the same. That's the reason why he left Green Bay. Their offensive line was terrible. So you would have thought he would have vetted the team he went to a little bit better. But
You would think.
when you vet X hundred of millions of dollars or whatever he signed for, I guess you're figured,
Well, that's where
it is what
that's where quarterback careers go to die, right? That's where Favre went.
it
Now he's going there.
is.
Who else went there? I mean,
I
after
don't
they
know,
had
but
amazing careers, Favre went
when
there,
you're
and a
when
couple
you're
others. Oh,
when you're
Flacco
claim to
went there
fame,
too. Flacco was there last year.
when your claim to fame is Joe Willie Namath,
Yeah,
that tells
that's
you
it.
how long it's been. So it's
You know,
awesome.
yeah.
But
The Jets are the last stop before you leave the league. Apparently.
yep, that's your on your way out the door. Play a season in New York.
Yeah, and so I haven't had much to cheer about, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm definitely even coming from New York, I'm a Brady fan because he's a winner. I like following winners, and we talked about in the business before about system and processes and stuff. He's got systems of health and processes of how he runs his life, and you can see how it works. That you have the right systems, the right discipline, and the right processes in place, and you can have tremendous amount of success. Tremendous amount of success, but just putting those right processes and disciplines in place. I'm a fan of his.
Yep, I agree. And the process piece is important. And to bring it back to our business, I mean, you just can't, like we talked about a minute ago, you just can't get so wrapped around the process that, you know, you never had it. The process doesn't come to a decision point. You've got to be able to get down to the fact, whether it's a deal or not, the sooner you can decide that in your process, right? Because, you talk about time is money, blah, blah, blah. But why waste time on a deal that doesn't make sense when you can be out chasing another one?
Yep.
And, have your checklist, go down your list, make sure everything's in order. If it's not, move on to the next deal. If it is, get your checkbook out and buy it.
Yep. I agree. It's
So,
important. It's very important. So we'll see. I heard that Dak got extended too. He's going to be your quarterback for a while. Is that true?
yeah, took up half the salary cap, so I don't know how we're going to keep everybody else, but we'll see how
Was he
that all
worth it?
shakes out. You know, it's debatable. I don't think tying up all that money in one guy, you know, necessarily. I mean, if you really think about it, all the great quarterbacks, Tom Brady is obviously the greatest of all time. He
Yep.
won 7 Super Bowls. Everybody said, well, Aaron Rodgers won 1 Super Bowl. Okay, how great is that, right?
Yeah. Right.
Peyton Manning won two. Well, heck, so did Eli Manning. I mean,
Eli
I
won
mean,
two. Eli won
yeah,
two.
yeah, and Peyton won two. He won one with the Colts, one with the Broncos.
Oh, with the
So
Broncos. That's right. That's right. He did win two. You're right. Well,
so
Peyton didn't win
so
that one. The defense won that second one. The Peyton was along for
there
the
you
ride for
go.
that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's Patrick Mahomes looks like he's the real deal. He's won two. He'll keep going, whatever. But
I like him.
um,
I like him a lot.
yep.
They just did
So
I don't know if it was on Showtime or one of these other premium channels. They did like a documentary on him and stuff and everything.
yeah,
Watch it. And even behind scenes, I like him a lot. He seems like he's a good-hearted person and he works hard. And they were showing,
if he can keep up that intensity and
yeah,
that drive, a lot of people get their first check and all of a sudden, or first extension on top of their rookie check, and then all of a sudden it's like, they fade. But
well, that was Russell
he
Wilson,
seems,
right?
yeah,
Russell
yeah. I
Wilson won
can't
the Super
bash
Bowl rookie
Russell.
year.
Russell went to NC State, so I can't bash him too bad.
I mean,
Um,
he still had
but
that early
he,
success, though. The early success is no good.
yep. So we'll see.
Early success is no good. I think it's tough to handle because
Well, yeah, it's like you buy an MPL, and 3 months later it pays off, and you get a big windfall, and you think about, hey man, this is awesome. So I'll
yeah,
buy five more.
yeah,
You don't do your due diligence, and all of
yes,
a sudden you lost all the money you made on that one.
yes.
So you know, what do you always talk about sports for? Because you can always relate a sports story back to whatever business you're in, right? Whether it's an oat business or any other real estate or alternative investment, you got to go through the practice, the process, and stick to your
That's right.
game plan.
So
So,
I was on a podcast yesterday and I related our business to, do you remember this guy? Refrigerator Perry, right? So here's how I related it to Refrigerator Perry. So we're in the business of distressed assets, which means that somebody was playing this game of real estate and couldn't take it across the goal line and get that big payoff. Someone did something wrong and it just faltered. And we come in on the goal line like Refrigerator Perry. Just come in, do that last play, punch it through, score, do what the others couldn't do, work it out, fix it up, move on to the next one. And Refrigerator Perry was always there to get that goal line 5 yards and in. And that's what we do. People can take it 95 yards and can't finish it. We pick them up there and take them in the rest of the way. And so that's our
there you
business.
go. I will start calling you Fridge.
The fridge. What was his first name?
William.
William.
William the Refrigerator Perry. And he's right from your neck of the woods now. He went to Clemson right down the road from me in Charlotte there.
We were by there yesterday, last weekend.
Yeah.
When I flew out that night that I left you guys, which I got into DFW pretty quickly. I could have stayed another half hour apparently, because that was pretty.
I told you weren't far away.
And then the flight got a little delayed too. But yeah, then we next morning we were out in South Carolina. Went right out to Greenville first thing in the morning. So that was a fun ride.
Well, good. Hope the soccer tournament went well.
It went well. They lost both games, but the coach. It's a brand new team. That was a first. It's a brand new club, brand new team, brand new set of girls, and those are the first two games we played together, and we played 2 and 3 levels above our skill level. So we were expecting to get clobbered, but I have to tell you, by the second half of the second game on Sunday, the girls started finding their groove and took it to the other team. We ended up scoring one, even though they lost like 7-1. But the effort, the attitude, we're in this fight together, and started figuring things out that quickly on their own was very positive. We left on a very positive note. And all the parents are saying so as well. There was a little bit of a trip to get there. But we all left very positive because even though they're still figuring out positions, players, coaching styles, and all that stuff, they kind of on their own, as all being lost on the field collectively, kind of found their way a little bit and had some push at the end, which looked really good. So that was encouraging, especially being the first, weekend tournament and that they played together. So
that's awesome.
It was nice to see. So, we'll see now. We're not playing this weekend, but one of the older teams is playing in a tournament locally and doesn't have enough players, and they called on our team. We got the email this morning if anybody wants to volunteer, play with the older girls on Sunday. So we'll let our daughter make that decision on her own if she wants to go and play, and I believe she'll probably want to play.
Yeah, well, that'll be good.
So we'll see.
That'll be awesome.
We'll see. It'll be interesting.
Well, good. Well, I hope you had a successful trip when you came down here.
I did actually, and I was saying that too. I need to come back there because not only I haven't been there in years, as I told you, but nice area. I know a lot of people down there. I got to go out and visit a couple more, but it's nice to I got to bring the family down there too, because I know that I didn't see a lot that there is to see down there and it wasn't a bad flight at all to get there and back.
Yep.
So I definitely need to make some more trips down there. So I'll probably work on bringing the family for the Note Expo and
awesome.
Bring them down, and we'll spend some time down there. But it's fun.
And next time we'll talk. I guess we'll tee up. You're going to be at IMN after our next episode, so we should be able to talk a little bit about that, right?
You're going to IMN? I'm not going to IMN again. Are you going?
Yeah, I'm going to go. It's September 7th and 8th. So uh,
on the West Coast.
Dana Point, you can't miss Dana Point. I mean, it's such a beautiful place.
I listen. I don't doubt it's a beautiful place. I mean, to go out there though, meeting all the same people. Um,
Well, I get it. And then it's a cross country trip for you.
yeah,
Fortunate enough, when you live in Dallas, you're pretty much halfway between everything.
yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah,
it's just as
I did
much
that
for me
many
to
years
go to
ago. I said that
California.
like I meet I meet all the same people at the airport because we're all flying back east and doing business in the airport on the way back and on the airplanes. I'm like, why are we all just going out west? Why don't we just like? So I've stopped going out there. I love going out there. I love Dana Point, great area. I know a lot of people out there too. Um, but again, as you said, time is always fleeting. Trying to be more efficient, and I just don't see it justifying it. You
All
know,
right, well, our trade desk is pretty busy. We're starting to see a lot of deals between 200 and a million, like per asset. So if you've got, investors or your fund that's interested in taking a swing at some, just, let me know and we'll figure out what we can do.
very, very good. All right, guys, we'll talk to everybody soon, and we'll see you on the next episode. Until next time, we'll see you then.